What is up, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Process Sports Radio. I'm super excited to have you guys here. I hope you guys are all healthy. You guys are practicing social distancing and everybody's morals are good. It looks like this whole situation might finally be coming to an end, especially here in British Columbia where they're loosening up the rules. The economy is going to start opening up again where we're going to be able to go to stores, get haircuts. I'll finally be able to get a haircut. I don't have to wear a hat anymore. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to be able to, go back to work. People are going to be able to get their jobs back. But also I hope that, people do understand that, hey, this isn't over yet. The fight isn't over yet. There's still a lot of work that has to be done. We still got to practice social distancing. Still got to, make sure we don't put people with compromised immune systems in danger. Still, there's a lot of hard work that has to be done. So please, everybody, continue your social distancing. Continue all that you're doing. And remember, stay safe. But positively with things opening back up now, the fact is the UFC is coming back. So we're going to have our first live sporting event in North America in almost 2 months. It's felt like 10 years, but it's only been 2 months with UFC 249 coming out this weekend with Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. It's supposed to be Khabib, but for the fifth time, it has not happened. So that's really exciting. It's actually a pretty decent card, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I want to also see what it's going to be like with no fans and how the atmosphere is like. Definitely, I feel that the UFC will put on a good show. They always do. So I'm really excited for that. Speaking on, leagues here, the NFL came out with its schedule. It looks like everything's all systems go for that in September. So I will talk about that. That's definitely going to be the main topic of this episode. I'm going to run through all of the teams, give you my picks on divisions and who's going to make the playoffs so far. Because it looks like with the draft over, free agency is pretty much over. There are, some big name free agents out there like a Jadeveon Clowney, guys like that. So it is going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. But these are my way too early predictions because I have nothing else to do. And then also, as you guys know, I'm a really big wrestling fan. And there's certain things that I think people forget about wrestling or they don't get enough coverage. Or things that are really important to me in the history of wrestling that I think that need to be talked about. So I have a moment or a time of period in wrestling pretty recent that I feel people forget about, and I'm definitely going to touch on that. But going back to COVID for a little bit, it looks like the NHL and the NBA are making plans to reopen and resume their play, which is awesome. But I'm kind of worried about how they're going to roll it out. So for me, I feel the leagues need to decide this. We need to have a 2-week training camp. Say, for example, it starts in the beginning of June and we resume play end of June, early July, because you cannot expect these high-performance professional athletes to be sitting at home for 2 straight months, almost 3 months, and jump right back in and get into tip-top shape for playoff time and and finish off a regular season if they do indeed do that. So essentially what these guys need to worry about is this. Injuries, chemistry, stuff like that. Yes, guys are training, but hey, you got to protect your brand. You got to protect your athletes, right? So the way I'm seeing it is this. If they come back in the middle of June, end of July, finish it off the regular season, have a 5-10 game regular season for the NHL and the NBA, finish it off, create your playoff seeding, have a condensed playoff, right? I don't like this whole idea of a 24-team playoff and stuff like that. I feel you should just keep it the same because, teams have deserved win all out during the regular season and deserve a playoff spot. And you don't want to throw it up to a gimmick like that. You want to keep it as true as possible. So definitely I feel that's something that the leagues need to really look at and allocate. And also another thing is if you guys do start in December, the next season, make the change permanently. I feel it's going to be too hard on athletes' bodies to keep this change up and starting their whole offseason program and shifting it out of whack. Because, athletes are creatures of habit and they want to have a set routine schedule done, right? So hopefully the leagues do the right thing and really take their time and think about and make a strategic plan about this because, hey, you don't want guys getting injured when the leagues come back because we've been so starved to see sports and to see our superstars get injured and stuff like that because of poor planning is definitely something that no sport fan wants to see. So definitely that's something the NHL and the NBA really need to think about. The NFL, on the other hand, with no off-season programs or anything like that, we don't know what's going to happen with training camp yet. Would they just release their schedule? That's definitely going to be a really big factor because with no off-season training programs, especially with no new coaches, new quarterbacks, new players in new cities, they're going to need that time to get the reps in, learn the systems, the playbooks, stuff like that because football is such a big thing with coaching. It's a chess game. Football's a chess game, and when you're not able to strategize in the offseason like that, you're definitely going to be at a disadvantage, especially for the teams, like I said, like a Tampa Bay. They have a new quarterback learning a new system. He's been in one system for 20 years, right? It doesn't matter how much talent he has around him, right? The fact of the matter is just he's going to be in a new system. Got to learn a whole new playbook and get those reps in with those new receivers, right? Because that's how you're going to become successful. So without further ado, let's roll it right into my way too early NFL predictions. So first, I'm going to start off with the AFC East, Tom Brady's old division. So last 20 years, the Patriots have dominated that division like no other team ever has. But they're not the kings on the block anymore. I feel this year the Buffalo Bills will take this division because I feel they have the best team so far. They have the best quarterback in Josh Allen. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. The addition of Stephon Diggs is huge. They still got a really good defense and great coaching staff. I think Buffalo wins this division with like a 10-6 record. However, I have number 2. I have the team that's going to dominate this division for the next 10 years, the Miami Dolphins. I really love what the Dolphins are doing. They got their man in Tua. They have a great coach in Brian Flores who comes from that Patriot tree. He's also building a great culture in Miami where, they play hard. Even if they don't win, they play hard. They understand their system. They know their roles. And they made smart acquisitions in the offseason. So I definitely think Miami, it's a year too early for them, but I definitely feel Miami will be the team of this division for the next 10 years. Next, I have the Jets. The Jets are a mediocre team. I mean, the Jets are one of those teams that I feel is stuck in no man's land where they have a young quarterback who's good in Sam Darnold. They have, Le'Veon Bell. They have good pieces. But I just feel that their quarterbacking and the rest of their team talent is not up to par. So I have the Jets as a mediocre team. I'd say a 7-9 team, the Jets are. And lastly, I have the Patriots. The Patriots dynasty is over. They don't have Brady anymore. They have Belichick still. They have a boatload of draft picks. It's pretty clear what the Patriots are doing. They're tanking. They want to rebuild. They want to get either Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence next year in the draft. They want to take this year off and get their new franchise quarterback. So the Patriots are definitely, their dynasty's over. So they're going to finish dead last in the division, and it might be like that for the next couple of years, finishing last in that division. Next, we'll go into the AFC North. So number 1, it's pretty much the clear choice, is the Baltimore Ravens. They got the reigning MVP in Lamar Jackson. They got Mark Ingram. They got Marcus Peters on defense. They added Calais Campbell to defense. They have a great squad. The Ravens are a stacked roster, probably the most talented roster in the league, in my opinion. And the Ravens are going to win this division. The Ravens are going to be a Super Bowl threat, potentially a Super Bowl winning team for the next 15 years with Lamar Jackson in the fold. The man's elite. The man's special. He's a breed of quarterback that we probably will never see his athleticism, his speed, but he also proved that he's a true quarterback and can fling the football as well. So I got them winning this division. I'd probably say they're a 12-win team. 12 to 11 win team. Then I got the Cleveland Browns. Redemption for the Browns. The Browns will make the playoffs this year. The Browns, I've had such smart decision making this year. They have a better coach in Kevin Stefanski. I feel, the whole Freddie Kitchens experiment is done. He was never supposed to be a coach. He never should have been a coach, and it was quite evident from the start. But then you also see the fact that, they addressed their offensive line. They built their offensive line. They're going to protect Baker Mayfield. They give Baker Mayfield the time to throw the ball to Odell Beckham Jr., to throw the ball to Jarvis Landry, to throw it to Austin Hooper and David Njoku, and let Nick Chubb, who's a very underrated, great skilled back Nick Chubb is, to run the ball effectively. And the Browns also have a really good defense as well. So the Browns will definitely be a playoff team this year. And I definitely think that the Browns are going to, get some redemption. They're definitely going to prove that the talent they had last year and the failures they had last year was a one-off, and they are going to make the playoffs this year. Next, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will fight for a playoff spot this whole year because they do have a lot of talent. They have great young defensive pieces like Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Bud Dupree. I really love what the Steelers are doing. They got Joe Hayden in the secondary as well. They have, James Conner. Hopefully he can stay healthy and run the ball effectively. They have a Canadian, Chase Claypool, who I feel will be a great addition for the Steelers. They have Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know about Big Ben. I don't know how good he's going to be. He was pretty much injured all of last year. He's definitely going to have some growing pains. And he's not a workout warrior. We heard about his workout thing. His idea of a great summer is crushing beers and doing a session of yoga and just chilling out. So I definitely think that Big Ben's going to have a big adjustment to get back into shape. So I think the Steelers will fight for a playoff spot, and I think they might get it, might not. Lastly, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are going to suck. I'm sorry, Joe Burrow. You're going to need all the luck you can get. You're going to suck. You're going to struggle. And I feel bad for you, but hey, that sucks for you. Next, we go to the AFC South. The AFC South, it should be the Indianapolis Colts. They have the most talent on that division. They've made all the big acquisitions, grabbing a DeForest Buckner, getting a Phillip Rivers. They have Darius Leonard. They have a good young group of talent. They drafted a wide receiver. They drafted a running back. They have the talent. But here's the thing. I think that Phillip Rivers is not going to work in Indianapolis, and I think they're going to find out early on in the season that he's not the guy. I think the Colts win this division with like a 9-7, 10-6 record due to Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett will lead this team to the division title. Next, I have the Tennessee Titans. I feel they're going to be another mediocre team. I think a 7 or 9, 8 or 8 team. Because they got on a magic carpet ride last year. They got hot. They rode Derrick Henry as far as they could ride him. They have a good defense, but realization is going to settle in that, hey, Ryan Tannehill is our franchise quarterback, and Ryan Tannehill is not a franchise quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is a mediocre quarterback, and you're going to have to realize the fact that you paid this man all that money, and he's not going to take you anywhere. So have fun being in mediocrity, Tennessee fans. The 5 or 6 of you that are out there, you guys are not going to be going anywhere. Next up, the Houston Texans. Again, a 7-9 record. It's evident that Bill O'Brien is not a good coach nor a good GM. We saw the DeAndre Hopkins trade. But definitely I feel that the Texans are going to take a downward spot because there's too much noise, too much, with the Hopkins trade. They're getting older. They still have Deshaun Watson, but they have no more weapons for him, I feel. So I think Houston takes a step back. They fire Bill O'Brien, and then they rebuild like that. Hey, you have Deshaun Watson. You better maximize his talent and potential because he is an elite quarterback, and you better take care of him and make sure you maximize his talent. Lastly, I got the Jaguars. The Jaguars suck. They have sucked. They're irrelevant to me in the NFL. They're the NFL wasteland that nobody cares about. I don't care about them. I don't really want to talk about them, so I'll leave that at that. And lastly, in the AFC, I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West. They're the defending champs. They got Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. They got Andy Reid. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Travis Kelce. They got Frank Clark. They got Tyrann Mathieu. They're coming back as the squad's coming back, and they will be the best team in the AFC West. They'll win that division pretty easily. Next, we're going to go I got the LA Chargers finishing second in that division. I have the Chargers making the playoffs. I think the Chargers have a supremely talented team with Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Casey Hayward, Melvin Ingram. They have Austin Eckler in the backfield. They have Hunter Henry. They have Keenan Allen. They have so much talent. The Chargers are a very talented team. What happened last year was they had a quarterback who turned the ball over a lot. They got rid of him, right? So now they have Tyrod Taylor until Justin Herbert learns, right? So Tyrod Taylor is actually a decent quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over. And you know what? I think the Chargers are going to be a very good team this year. And you know what? They will make the playoffs, and they will be a force to be reckoned with because they have talent. Next, I have the Denver Broncos. I find that the Broncos do have a lot of talent. They drafted Jerry Jeudy. They have Cortland Sutherland. They have Peyton Lindsay. They have, the defensive line with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. They have a good team. They don't have a quarterback, in my opinion, in Drew Lock. I don't think he's the franchise quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback, but we're going to find out this year that he's not a very good quarterback. And, he's not something that you're going to build around. And again, Denver is going to be looking for their franchise quarterback. So again, no playoffs for Denver this year. Lastly, I have the Las Vegas Raiders, not the Oakland Raiders anymore. I think the Raiders are going to be a really competitive team. I just feel the fact is they don't have any help on defense. They have a really good offense. I love Josh Jacobs. I love John Gruden as a play caller and offensive mind. They got Henry Ruggs from Alabama, so they have the outside threat now. But the Las Vegas Raiders are going to need help on defense to stop people. So definitely, the Raiders are going to be a team trending upward, but they're going to need that help on that. To put a bowl in the AFC, I got my division winners being Kansas City, Indianapolis, then we got Baltimore, and then the final off the Buffalo Bills. And then remember, this year there's 3 wildcard teams and not 2, so there's an additional playoff team. So I have the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into the playoffs. So those are my AFC playoff teams so far. So then we'll slide over to the NFC. So the NFC, we'll start off with the NFC East, or the NFC Least as it's also known in my opinion. Winning the NFC Least or East is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles because they have the best quarterback and they have the best defense in my opinion. And they also have improvement. So they added Darius Slay to the secondary. They still have Carson Wentz, who played a full season healthy until that playoff game where he did get taken out. They drafted a wide receiver. They added Marquise Goodwin. They have pieces around him. He still has Zach Ertz, right? So Zach Ertz is probably one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. So definitely, I think the Eagles will win this division, probably at a 9-7 record. So it's going to be a dogfight like always in this division. They're going to beat each other up, and whoever it's going to come to the last game of the season. So I got the Eagles winning that. Cowboys are second. The Cowboys, again, they haven't signed Dak Prescott yet. They signed Andy Dalton, which is nice for Dallas fans, I guess. They still have Zeke. They drafted a new wide receiver. In CeeDee Lamb. They have Amari Cooper still. They have all these big offensive pieces, but they have no defense, right? Dallas is going to put up a bunch of points, but they're definitely not going to be able to stop anybody. They didn't address any of their defensive needs. Their pass rush is gone. Their secondary is going to be hurting. They have 2 good linebackers, but they have nothing else on defense. So the Cowboys, again, are going to be in big trouble because, A, their defense is not going to be good, and Dak Prescott's got to learn a Mike McCarthy offense, and there's no offseason training, and he looks like he's not going to do any of that because he hasn't got paid yet. So Cowboys will definitely be in trouble. So I got the Cowboys finishing 8-8. Then we'll got the Giants and the Redskins. It's a toss-up who comes dead last in that division, in my opinion. Those 2 teams are not very good. They're very young still. They got young quarterbacks, young teams, new coaches. So I definitely think the Redskins and the Giants are going to struggle. There's not really much to say about them. They're going to struggle. The NFC South. The NFC South is going to go to the New Orleans Saints. They have Drew Brees, Michael Thomas. They have added Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara. You have Taysom Hill, which I feel he's just an irrelevant guy who gets a lot of play because he catches the ball as a quarterback. I don't really care much about Taysom Hill. Then you got a defense with Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan. You have a really talented squad in New Orleans. They will win this division. I don't know about the playoffs because New Orleans hasn't done anything in the playoffs lately when they should have. So definitely the Saints will win this division, probably at an 11 to 10 win team. Next, we have everybody's favorite bandwagon team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady goes south to Tampa, and Rob Gronkowski, the WWE 24/7 champion, will join him. You also have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin there. O.J. Howard still there for now. You have Shaquille Barrett on defense, the NFL sack leader. So you have some really good pieces. You have Bruce Arians, who is a good coach, but as I mentioned before, no off-season training program. Brady's got to learn a whole new system. He can't throw with his receivers. There'll be that timing issues. Is Gronk really healthy or not? There's a lot of question marks with the Bucs right away to start off with, right? Yes, their schedule makers did give them quite a favorable edge, I feel. But definitely the Bucs, I feel they should make the playoffs. They probably will, but they're going to struggle early, and it's going to be a grind to get there. But definitely the Bucs will make the playoffs. They're not going to go to the Super Bowl, though. There's too many good teams in the NFC that will stop them, that are better than them. So the Bucs are not going to make the Super Bowl, so you can pump the brakes on that. The Bucs are not winning the Super Bowl, but they should make the playoffs. Next, I have Atlanta. Atlanta's an interesting team. They added Todd Gurley. Their defense is good. Their defense is still have some decent pieces around it. I think Dan Quinn is a good coach, but it's in his last year of his contract. And if things don't start off well, he could be a lame duck coach, and he could be in big trouble. Again, they're stuck in mediocrity as well. They're not bad enough to tank, but they're not good enough to be a contender, in my opinion. Same thing with Carolina in this division. They added Teddy Bridgewater as quarterback. They have probably the best running back or best dual threat player in football, in my opinion, Christian McCaffrey. But other than that, they don't have much on the defensive end. Luke Kuechly's gone. So I think the Panthers and Falcons are kind of stuck in mediocrity. They're, like I said, they're too good to tank. Too good to tank, but also not good enough to be a contender. So that division is going to be a slugfest between those teams. But I definitely think New Orleans is going to be the cream of the crop and take that division. Next, we have the NFC North, and the Minnesota Vikings are going to win this division, and it's going to be pretty easily too, in my opinion. I feel the Vikings have a really strong roster, as they normally do. They have Kirk Cousins, a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. They have Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook. They drafted Justin Jefferson from LSU. They still have a great defense with like guys like Anthony Barr, Everson Griffin, stuff like that. So the Vikings will win this division pretty easily, but I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs. Then I got the Packers, the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers probably will make the playoffs too, but it's going to be a struggle this year. You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers is not happy. Aaron Rodgers saw the Green Bay Packers draft a quarterback, his heir apparent, in the first round, and did not help him any other way. They did not add any other wide receivers. They did not add another tight end. The Packers are in big trouble because if this year goes south, you can bet your bottom dollar that Aaron Rodgers is not going to want to be in Green Bay anymore. He's going to want out. He's going to want to win a title. He does not want to play for the Packers anymore. You could tell there's going to be a lot of tension there. So the Packers need to have a successful year. If they don't, Aaron Rodgers' time is over in Green Bay. Then we got the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are, again, wasting a great defense that they have and having a putrid, shitty offense because they can't find a quarterback. No, Mitchell Trubisky is not a good quarterback. No, Nick Foles is not a good quarterback. I don't know why they didn't go after Cam Newton or somebody like that. I don't know why. But getting Nick Foles is not the answer. Nick Foles had a 6-game a magical playoff run, and after that, he got a fat contract, got hurt, and lost to Minshew Mania, right? So, I mean, I think Nick Foles is not going to be the answer. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is the answer. And again, the Bears are going to be stuck in that middle-of-the-road pack because their defense is going to ball out, but their offense won't do shit. So definitely I feel the Bears are in big trouble. They need to find a quarterback, just like Denver and a bunch of other teams need to as well. Lastly, we got the Lions. The Lions are the Lions. Matt Patricia's not a good coach. I think this might be his last year in Detroit. To be honest, they suck again. But they're not very good. There's not much to say. They're going to come dead last in this division. And lastly, we have the NFC West, probably the toughest division in football. And they have the reigning defending NFC champion, the San Francisco 49ers, who will not win this division. The Seattle Seahawks will win this division simply because they have the best quarterback in the NFC, probably the second or third best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. They have DK Metcalf, a young up-and-coming receiver who, again, is going to have another year under Russell Wilson and more chemistry. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll have been together for a while now. He knows Brian Schottenheimer's offense. You're going to get guys like Chris Carson and Rashad Penny back. They added Quinton Dunbar to their secondary. So the secondary is going to be revamped. You still have Bobby Wagner, the best middle linebacker in football. And Jadeveon Clowney will come back. Clowney will come back because he has nowhere to go, right? That's his best place to win. He could sign a 1-year deal and get that redemption he wanted and then cash out next summer, right? Or next spring. But I think the Seattle Seahawks will win this division, probably at a 12-win team. I really think what they're doing is they're rebuilding, just like how they did with the Legion of Boom era. They have a young core now, and now they're going to be extending. So I definitely think the Seattle Seahawks are a big threat to win the Super Bowl. I have them in the NFC Championship game, possibly to the Super Bowl as well. So they're at 12-4 record, I think. But next, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, they have a great defensive line still. They still have a great rushing attack. They have Jimmy G. They have good weapons around them, right? But I feel the league is going to catch up to them a little bit with their offense, and it's going to slow down a little bit because the teams will be able to game plan around it. I think the 49ers and the Seahawks will be in a dogfight till the very end. It's going to come down to that last game in the regular season, in my opinion. But I think Seattle's got the better quarterback, and I'm going to roll with the better quarterback. And I think San Francisco finishes at 11-5 in the season. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals, the dynamic duo of Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Finally, we get to see them set off. And I feel the Cardinals are going to be a tough out. They're going to be a very tough team to win against because they have such explosive offense, but they have no defense, just like the Cowboys. They're going to put up a bunch of points, big numbers, big fantasy points, but they can't stop anybody, so they're not going to be able to win because, like I said, teams are going to be able to score at their will against them. But definitely, they're going the right way for the Arizona Cardinals. Lastly, the Los Angeles Rams. Remember when the Rams were at the top of the NFC? Everybody's like, oh my God, McVay's a genius. Oh my God, Goff is this. Oh my God. That's over now, folks. Goff is now an overpaid wasteland. McVay, he's still a good coach, but he doesn't have the horses around him anymore. So the Rams have definitely fallen. It's time to rebuild. It's time to strip everything down and rebuild. They're too overpaid players. They're getting older. So definitely the Rams got to rebuild. So in the NFC, I have my division winners being Seattle, Minnesota, New Orleans, and Philadelphia. And my wildcard teams will be the 49ers, the Packers, and let's make this fun here. Who should we throw in there? The Buccaneers, right? So those are my NFC and AFC team and my predictions. Whether you guys like them or not, I don't care. There's my predictions, and I'm probably going to change them in September when training camp and preseason is done. So don't take this too hard because it's probably going to change in the next couple months. But yeah, that's my NFL talk for today. But lastly, I want to finish off with, as you guys know, I'm a big wrestling guy. Wrestling has been a part of my life for years and years, and it always will be. And there's one thing that I want to talk about that I feel that we haven't touched that I think a lot of wrestlers people forget about. So back in 2011, right, as you guys know, CM Punk was probably the biggest wrestler in the wrestling industry. And CM Punk now, he tried the UFC and failed at it, and I think he's back in wrestling now. But so back in 2011, CM Punk was, vying for the WWE title with John Cena. He eventually won the title. He felt that he deserved more publicity and a push from the company that he never got. And then he proceeded to create the Pipe Bomb era, or also known as the Summer of Punk. And the Summer of Punk was legendary for this reason and this reason only. It brought back reality to wrestling and something that they desperately need now. They had a star who wasn't afraid to speak his mind, who wasn't afraid to say what he wanted to say, to go after the bosses, to go after the management, to go after the biggest stars, and fight for his place that he felt he deserved, right? So the story goes like this. CM Punk's contract expiring in WWE. He wants to leave. He's felt disrespected. He's upset, right? So what does he do? Him and John Cena have a promo, and they have a lead up to Money in the Bank to fight for the WWE title. So what does CM Punk do? He crashes John Cena's match against R-Truth and proceeds to take the mic, sit directly in the middle of the stage on the ramp, right in front of the title on the big Raw screen, and proceeds to rant about the WWE and everything that's wrong with the WWE for the next little while. So CM Punk puts the WWE on blast for ass-kissing, cheating, and showing favoritism, which they all do, right? So he goes out there and he interrupts Cena's match, and he comes out and claims that he's the best in the world, and he's been the best in the world ever since he came in. He said the only thing that John Cena is good at is for ass kissing, that he ass kissed Vince McMahon, just like all the other stars before him had. And which is true. I mean, in the WWE, if you're Vince's guy, and I've heard it in many interviews, if you grab his proverbial brass rings, and CM Punk mentioned that too, he felt that he had grabbed all those brass rings, but it's because he didn't ass kiss to Vince McMahon is the reason he never became and got the push that he deserved. Which is totally true. I mean, if you look at like a guy like Roman Reigns, right? Nothing against Roman Reigns. He's a great wrestler, great athlete, and I generally like him, but he's Vince's guy. And if you're Vince's guy, you're going to get pushed. He's going to be on all the talk shows. He's going to be on all the merchandise. He's going to be on the biggest screens, just like The Rock, just like Stone Cold was, just like John Cena was, right? Just like Hulk Hogan was as well. If you're Vince's guy, he's going to ride you, and he's going to take you and make that money off you. And CM Punk felt that a guy like him never would be able to get that push. And you know what? He deserved a bigger push because he was a great, charismatic star, right? CM Punk knew how to talk on the mic. He knew how to talk in an eloquent way, but also talk in a brash way that would get people's attention. He brought back reality. Who does not feel they've been slighted on and they feel that they deserve more of this and that? I know for certainly all of us have felt that way, right? So definitely CM Punk felt that he was being slighted. So he comes out, talks a bunch of shit about the WWE. He says Vince McMahon's a bully. He says that Vince McMahon's also a hypocrite. He creates these anti-bullying promotions, but he's a bully himself. He's just doing it to protect his bottom line. He proceeded to say that The Rock was the biggest ass kisser and that The Rock was coming back the next year to headline WrestleMania when it should have been him. So definitely CM Punk, that Summer of Punk was definitely very good because it's very refreshing too, because the WWE needs something like that. They need stars like that that are going to speak their mind, that are going to push that line and push the envelope to really draw new fans, because hey, there's only so much you can do to cater to kids and PG, because hey, that will get ratings, but it won't get ratings forever, because once those kids get older, they're not going to be getting the attention anymore. So hey, the WWE really needs to take a page out of that and create a star, or create a villain that's against the system, that goes against management, that really wants to buck the trend. That's how they made all that money with the Attitude Era, because every star bucked the trend. There was no white face. Everybody had a certain bad boy persona about them. Steve Austin and The Rock, Triple H, DX, Shawn Michaels, whatever they had, right? There was a certain element of bad boyness in them, and that's what they needed. Hey, go back to Punk. He said he was going to win the WWE title, leave, and go take it to the competitors, whether that's Pro Japan, Ring of Honor, or whoever. He did not care. He pushed the trend like that. He called Vince McMahon an asshole. He called Triple H a doofus. He called Stephanie McMahon. He called them all out. And you know what? It was awesome to see, because that's what the WWE needs. They need somebody who's going to push that envelope, right? And you know, the best part is he won. CM Punk won. He won the title and left. And then he came back and signed a contract, and then it kind of got ruined again because they didn't write the script properly. So going back to it, I really think that the pipe bomb that CM Punk created was definitely something that needs to be brought back, because that's how it's going to draw back viewers and listeners. Because hey, when you have something that pushes the trend and that does not fit into the regular the regular programming of it, it's going to get attention. That's how the Attitude Era gained so much success, because it was different. The WWE needs something different. They've been in a stale thing for the last 10 years, and they really need to change it, because that's how they're going to gain more followers back. They're losing a lot of money, the WWE, right? And it's pretty evident. So they need something that's going to change it. I'm not saying bring back a full Attitude Era, but I'm saying create new stars, more people like CM Punk that are not afraid to speak their mind, that are eloquent in speaking their mind, that are more than just an in-ring performer and just juice heads, right? They need to have some charismatic stars on the mic that are going to be able to attract viewers that are from a larger demographic. Yeah, you could get those kids, right? But after that, when we're from 18 to 40 or whatever, right? How are you going to build those people in? You need to create storylines that are intriguing to people. And that's something that WWE hasn't done in a while. And as a huge wrestling fan that I am, I really hope they change that. So definitely take a page from the Summer of Punk line and fix it, right? That's all it comes down to. Fix it. It can be fixed, and you will get fans back. But you got to have a guy like CM Punk who's going to buck the trend and who's going to want to push the envelope like that. So Vince, let's do it. You have a smart mind. I know you can do it. But yeah, so that's this episode. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it. The next ones will be coming out. The Last Dance winding down, so we're definitely gonna have an episode about that. I got some great interviews lined up as well. Like I said though, guys, please, thank you for all your support. Please follow me on Instagram at Process Sports, at Twitter, right at _Process Sports. Remember, this video will be up on YouTube on our channel, so please like and subscribe to that. Also, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, whatever you use. Make sure you subscribe, you like it, you watch it, you listen to it, whatever you got to do. Tell your friends about it. Like I said, I only do this for you guys. I'm nothing without you guys, and I appreciate all the support. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.